Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Dillingham, my questions will be directed at you. I want to focus on the Bureau's plan for questionnaire assistance centers in the 2020 census, which provide localized in-person assistance, as you know, in completing the census questionnaire, helping hard-to-count communities get counted. On July 1st, Senator Jack Reed and our colleague, Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, who's a member of this committee, sent you a letter asking for details on your proposed mobile response initiative, which I understand is replacing the QAC program this year. Have you responded to that letter?
Congresswoman, regretfully, we have not.
When will you be responding?
As expeditiously as I can after this
More
hearing.
specifically, when will you be responding?
We will be responding very quickly, and I can
within
give
the
you,
week, within 2 weeks, within 3 weeks?
I would envision within 2 weeks.
Within 2 weeks from now. Okay. Will you simultaneously provide a copy of your response to that letter to this committee?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Dillingham, I have some quick-fire yes or no questions for you. In 2010, QACs counted more than 700,000 people, correct?
I am not, I would have to check that.
I can assure you
Congresswoman.
that that's how many that the Census Bureau says they counted, which is more than the entire population, for example, of the state of Vermont. So, Dr. Dillingham, are there plans to open QACs across the country for the 2020 census?
Congresswoman, there are not.
So you're getting rid of these centers where more people than the population of an entire state were counted.
Sure. Congresswoman, let me explain that we are providing expanded advice and assistance and through other mechanisms than the local centers.
I'm going to get to asking you questions about that because I don't share that view. Is it correct that the FY19 Appropriations Bill report specifically directed the Bureau to open QACs?
That was not my understanding, Congresswoman, but
Okay,
they did ask us to look at it.
I have it right here on
Yes.
page 611 of the FY19
That's correct.
CJS Appropriations Bill, which governs your agency. And it says, additionally, the Bureau shall devote funding to expand targeted communications activities as well as to open local questionnaire assistance centers in hard-to-count communities. It says shall.
Okay. And I think I don't want to differ with you on the language, but let me tell you how we're delivering that assistance.
It's right here in black and white.
That's correct.
On page
But let me tell you,
611.
we're delivering more assistance than ever before, certainly the last census.
Okay, I have some more yes or no questions because I don't agree with your characterization. Are you aware, according to the Census's own audit, that many of these QACs were budgeted only enough for 15 hours of staff time per week, or were only open during hours when most people are at work?
In the past census,
Yes.
Congresswoman, I know there were problems
Yes
with
or
those
no?
centers.
Are you aware of that fact?
Not those specific facts, but I knew there were problems.
Okay. And that the Bureau's own 2020 audit of QACs did not recommend eliminating QACs, but working to improve them. Were you aware of that?
I'm aware they wanted the function fulfilled. That's correct.
And did not recommend eliminating them?
The bricks and mortar, we didn't go that approach.
Right. Did the Bureau consider increasing the availability and staffing of QACs instead of eliminating them entirely?
We have very much not only considered, but are increasing the staffing for that function.
But you just said you're not going to have QACs. How are you going to increase the staffing for that
It's a matter of terminology, but when we have the mobile response units, we consider those.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question about the mobile response units in a moment. Earlier this year, the Bureau told Congress it intended to carry over more than $1 billion in funds to FY20 rather than spend it this year. Is that still the case?
We have carryover funding to guaranteed continuity of funding. That is
of
correct.
$1 billion?
Approximately $1 billion, yes.
So there is funding, appropriated funding, available to you that you could be using immediately to open QACs with the census being right around the corner. Dr. Dillingham, will the Bureau commit to using some of the $1 billion, and I'm an appropriator, so this matters to me, in carryover funds to open QACs?
Congresswoman, my understanding is it's not feasible at this point in time.
I beg to differ. So let's talk about the mobile response initiative that you are touting. In a report the Bureau prepared for Congress, you criticized QACs because they required individuals to find a physical location set up at regular hours to provide assistance. Your mobile response initiatives actually are, for the most part, going to be two-person teams with iPads popping up at markets, festivals, and events. Now, I know from experience that unpredictable things like weather can affect turnout in events. I went to a festival in June for the Juneteenth, and it poured rain in South Florida, and no one came. How will two people with an iPad find critical mass in that way?
We have a actually an interactive live system. We call it the ROAM system, which is the Response Outreach Area Mapping tool that we can monitor tracks during the census. And we can monitor self-response rates. We can target those
With
tracks.
2 people?
No. We would have more. We would have more, and we'd have a multitude of partners. And so in our discussions...
Not according to your plan.
The gentlelady's time has expired.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate it, and thank you, Dr. Dillingham, for your answers. You have some work to do.